Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting Radio, your station for empowerment, music, and talk radio. EB Radio presents Empower Hour with Jaresha. A show that shares the stories behind the journeys of leaders, influencers, and motivators. The Empower Hour with Jaresha begins now.
Ashley Blanshaw is a singer, songwriter, solo music goddess, motivational speaker, activist, and advocate for mental health awareness, and author. She has written 2 books. You can get physical copies of both of her books, My Journey to Recovery and Also Inspirational with Ashley Blanshaw on Amazon.com. Ashley's 3rd solo music album, Ashley #Unfiltered Part 2 and other solo music albums can be found on United Masters, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and Ashley Blanshaw. Follow along on social media at Ashley's Facebook page, Ashley Blanshaw, Instagram, at AshleyLove509 Clubhouse, at AshleyLove595, and also Twitter, at I am Ashley Blanche.
Good evening and welcome to Empower Hour with Jaresha. I am your host, Jaresha Moore-Smith, and it's another amazing Wednesday, y'all. And if this is your first time tuning in, I am so happy that you are tuning in to the show this evening. I want you to know, as a matter of fact, I need you to know that you have the power to be great, do great, and have great. You just have to be willing to unleash that greatness and take action. So on this show, I speak with leaders, motivators, and influencers who want to come on the show to share their stories and journeys to empower the world for growth and success. And tonight, I just want to send out a huge thank you to each and every one of you for your continued support and for tuning in each and every week. You know, we love Wednesdays here. Love Wednesdays. So every single week, y'all, we actually look at an empowerment quote that we are wanting to take a deeper look at, and we're wanting to ponder and really dive into it deep to see how it can empower us for growth and success. And so this week, I actually have several different quotes that we're going to talk about today. But what I really want to talk about today is making boss moves. Now, if you follow me on social media, you, I'm sure, have seen tons of posts where I talk about making boss moves and, you know, how important it is to boss up and level up in all the areas of your life. And so tonight we're going to talk about bossing up and making those boss moves like we all should be doing. So tonight we're going to go into a deep dive into some quotes and some points that I really want you to consider when it comes down to making those boss moves. But before we dive in, let's define boss moves, at least my definition, how I view boss moves and how we truly should be making those boss moves that is in every last one of the areas of our life. So when we make boss moves is when you initiate or conduct action or moves as the CEO and president of your life in all of the areas of your life. Now, what does that mean? That means that in the 5 key areas, and I like to look at them as these are the main key areas of all of the key areas of your life. Anything that's going on in your life can be put into these 5 areas. And so you have the financial part, you have the spiritual, you have relationships, you have health and wellness, you have what am I missing? I said spiritual, financial, health and wellness. You have personal, professional growth, And that covers every last, so when you think about everything, your personal, professional growth, your finances, your relationships, your spiritual and health and wellness, that covers every last one of those areas, and the personal, professional, as I mentioned, which I like to lump in your work, career, and business, and that falls within those areas. But that's where you're going to make moves, because guess what? You are the CEO and president of your life. And often we look to so many other people. We look to our friends, we look to our spouses, our boyfriends and girlfriends, to get permission, if you will, for making these moves that we need to be making in our own lives. So we're going to talk about those boss moves, what that looks like, and how we all can, from a day to day, make those boss moves every single day. So let's dive in and really pull out some amazing quotes. And as I said, y'all know I absolutely love quotes. Love quotes. I'm going to talk to you tonight about some quotes that, there's many, many quotes that we come across from a day to day, but I'm just going to pull a few that really spoke to me when it comes down to the boss moves that we're making and the boss moves that we need to be making for our lives. And so these amazing bosses have encouraged us, they have inspired us, they have definitely empowered us in some way, shape, or form. So I know you guys are familiar with the artist Pink, right? So if you're not, I'm sure, Google it, pull her up. Pink, actually, I love one of the quotes that I love one of the quotes that she said, and I want to talk about it tonight. So she has a quote that simply says, "You can't move mountains by whispering at them." Let's talk about this, okay? And I'm going to share my viewpoint from what this truly means and how it fits into my own journey and my own story. So you're going to get that real, as I like to put it, the real deal Holyfield of how I feel about the quote, how it applies to me and my life, and how we truly can use this to empower ourselves moving forward. So when you think about, you can't move mountains by whispering at them. Now, to me, this quote really screams volumes, and no pun intended, but it screams volumes because it is all about taking action. It's about taking that action. We have these big goals. We have these big mountains that we want to move, that we want to happen, if you will. And I'm not going to say we can't take those little baby steps in order to make things happen. But when you want things to happen in your life, so when you're trying to make boss moves, you have to be willing. For one, you have to be willing to move and take action, but you have to be willing to take big action and make big moves in your life. And for many of us, it starts with making a decision. It starts with giving yourself permission to do, be, and have what you want in your life. A lot of us haven't even given ourselves permission to do, be, and have what we want in our life. And our job is to figure out why. Our job is to figure out what is holding you back. Our job is to figure out why you're continuing to whisper at that mountain that you're trying to move. So Pink says you can't move mountains by whispering at them. So I tell you, stop whispering at whatever mountain you're trying to move in your life. We have to be willing to take big steps. We have to be willing to take big steps and a big leap outside of our comfort zone. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're going to continue whispering at that mountain, hoping for something different to happen. And y'all know what they say is insanity. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and hoping that you're going to get different results. As a boss, and when you're making boss moves, you have to be willing to do something different. You have to be willing to take a big leap outside of that comfort zone. right? You have to be willing to take a huge leap outside of that comfort zone. So I can tell you, there have been many times where I have found myself really having to reevaluate whatever was going on and why things were not moving like I wanted them to move. And it all came down to one, if things are not moving like you want them to, you need to reevaluate what you're doing, reevaluate your process. So I don't want to get caught up in this pink quote too long because there's some other quotes that I definitely want to dive into and mention as well. So let's just go right through them. The next quote that I want to pull out and really want you guys to think about and ponder is a quote that came from a actress that's on a show called The Good Wife. And her name is Diane Lockhart on The Good Wife. And she says, when the door you've been knocking at finally swings open, you don't ask why, you run through it. Okay? So this is a great quote. And again, I want you guys to ponder this for your own life. What door have you been knocking at that has opened? So that door of opportunity that's open and you are wondering, and actually we go through this whole self-doubt, we go through this whole process of fear that stops us from even walking through that door when the very thing that we have been praying for, the very thing that we have been waiting for happens, and then we question, well, why? Excuse you. No, the question is not why, okay? You should be trying to run through that door. When you make boss moves, I'm going to be real with y'all. When you make those boss moves, you don't wait for that door to open. You create your own opportunities. However, when that opportunity comes to you, so when that door finally swings open, you run out of that comfort zone. Here again, if you haven't realized what the whole theme of a couple of these quotes has been so far, it's when you make boss moves, you have to be willing to step outside of that comfort zone. Are you willing to step outside of your comfort zone? Are you willing to step outside of that comfort zone? This is a question that I've asked myself several times, and I think it's one of those things that you have to continue asking yourself because we get so comfy, right? We get so comfortable in being comfortable that you just go with the flow. You just, go with the flow, and then you end up in a point where you may say, oh, I wish I shoulda, I woulda, I coulda. And that shoulda, woulda, coulda, at least for me, I had to get rid of that a long time ago. That shoulda, woulda, coulda. No, because at the end of the day, as long as you woke up this morning, that means you have another opportunity to be, do, and have what you want in life. That means you have another opportunity to step outside of that comfort zone. So what are you going to do today that pushes you? What are you going to do today that stretches you outside that comfort zone? And I truly feel like we have to prepare ourselves. So as we are, waiting for that opportunity, and so many of us are waiting for that opportunity, but there is a waiting phase too. So there's a waiting phase that we go through when you're preparing, and just waiting for that opportunity after you showed up for yourself. So that's where you've went out and created that opportunity. However, it's still a waiting game sometimes. And so when it comes down to that waiting game, what are you doing during the process while you're, maybe waiting for that yes? That's not a time where we just sit back and kick up our feet. I believe that we are supposed to always be in action. I believe that we're supposed to always be in action and moving. And you cannot grow if you are comfortable inside of that comfort zone, right? We have to be forever going. And when you're making boss moves, your boss moves happen outside of your comfort zone. So remember that. let's just move right along to the next following quote, which is by J.K. Rowling, that simply says, some failure in life is inevitable. It is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default. So, as you make your boss moves, you have to be willing to fail and fail forward. Now, this failure thing, it is it's quite interesting because no one likes to fail, okay? Everyone wants success. Everyone wants, rainbows and roses. And I mean, there's not one person that you'll come in contact with that doesn't want those rainbows and roses. But at the end of the day, when we do have failures, that's where we learn. That is a place where we grow and we learn from those experiences. Now, if you haven't heard me talk about and share some of my story, I have been through a failed marriage, which resulted in a divorce. There's been numerous of times that I have failed and failed over and over again. But guess what? I did not allow that to keep me stagnant. I did not allow that to stop me from continuing to push forward, get back up, and, dust yourself off, whatever it is you need to do to continue to push forward. When I went through the divorce, and I initially was at a point where I said, you know what, I'm not ever getting remarried. And yeah, I was in that space because of the fact of what I was going through. And I had to, again, it's that evaluation. So I constantly feel like we're supposed to be evaluating and reevaluating ourselves just to learn more, about who we are and where we're trying to go. And so it was in one of those moments, in one of my reflecting moments, that I had to be real with myself and really understand the process, and that not every relationship that you go through, not every relationship, if I can say that again, that you go through, is one that is going to result in a failure or you feeling like, hurt, disappointing. Yes, we do go through those hurts, those disappointments. However, we have to keep moving forward. So don't allow that to knock you down. Don't allow that to stop you from, reaching your goal, pursuing whatever that thing is. Don't allow that to make you so bitter in your state to where you don't want to pursue having a relationship, having another marriage. And, I don't want this to turn into a marriage, topic, but because of the fact that that was one of the things that I experienced in my life that resulted in a failure, and it was a learning process. So, fast forward all these years, we're good, we're cordial with one another, we have kids, and it's just one of those things that we kept it moving, but it was a learning process. It was definitely a learning process. So as a boss, when you make boss moves, you have to be willing to fail and fail forward. You can't be stagnant in your failure. You can't dwell in it. You can't live in it. You can't just bask in it. Because you reflect and learn from it and you grow from it. And then you have to be willing to keep it moving. And that is exactly what I did. I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this stop me from having happiness. I'm not going to let this stop me from, getting remarried. And that's what happened. That was one of the things that I went through as far as a failure in a relationship. But there's tons of other failures that we have, whether they're small failures, whether they're big failures, however you want to look at it. A failure is a failure. And we just have to be willing to push forward and keep pushing forward. Okay. So when it comes down to those failures, whether it's in your personal life, your business, recognize it as call it what it is. It's a failure. It's going to come. Failures are going to come. They're going to go. But you have to be willing to shake them off and keep pushing forward. And let's learn from them. Okay. Let's learn from them and keep it moving. So, I could not even bring this to the table, to the conversation without even, I feel like you can't talk about quotes or anything empowerment, encouraging, or even talk about being a boss without bringing Oprah Winfrey and one of her amazing quotes into the mix. Okay. So, Oprah has a quote and she has many, many quotes that this particular one says, "What I know for sure is this: you are built not to shrink down to less, but to blossom into more, to be more splendid, to be more extraordinary, to use every moment to fill yourself up." Now, bosses out there, okay, when you are making boss moves, we need to understand that you have to have high expectations for yourself and how you're going to show up for yourself. Remember what I said before, you're not average, okay? You are created for greatness. And I feel like when you know that you're created for greatness, you should carry yourself accordingly, okay? So I'm not going to dive into what that truly means, because when you know that you're created for greatness, you know how to carry yourself and you know what you deserve. You know who you are, whose you are, and what you deserve. And that's in all of the areas of your life. You recognize that because you are created for greatness, that yes, you have already within you what it takes for you to be, do, and have what you want in life. So ask yourself, what can you do today to help you blossom into being more splendid and to be more extraordinary? Because like I said, you are created for greatness. So this is a really, really amazing quote, because when I think about just my own story and journey and how over the years, if I didn't have anything, I always had high expectations for myself and how I was going to show up. And when I say show up, I'm meaning across the board. It doesn't matter if I was at the grocery store. It doesn't matter if I was in the corporate world, in the boardroom. It doesn't matter if I was on a virtual mastermind or on a post that's on social media. I always had high expectations for myself, but it also came through at how I presented myself. I have always felt, as a boss, if you will, as a CEO of your life, there is a certain way that you should carry yourself. There's a certain way that you should present yourself. And I truly feel like going back to when you know whose you are and what you bring to the table, and truly just who you are, you will always show up for yourself and show up in a way that is confident, show up in a way that how you should present yourself as the CEO and president of your life when you know what you deserve. And this comes through in all of the areas of your life. So in relationships, in your personal growth, meaning in your personal growth and professional development, you are going to, when you have high expectations for yourself and how you're going to show up for yourself, and as Oprah said, not shrink down to less, but to blossom into more, you're going to be more willing to invest in yourself. And whatever that looks like, whether it's personal development and, investing in, starting small, maybe in Audible books where you're reading on a regular, or investing in some kind of reading book club where you're feeding yourself knowledge and information, and then investing into a coach that can help you, a coach and mentor that's going to help you through some of the key areas of your life. So when you are willing to make those boss moves and truly invest and blossom and have those high expectations for yourself, you're more willing to invest in you. You're more willing to, really invest not just from a personal growth, but also within the financial side of things. We know that when you invest in anything, there is the financial piece, there is the time piece that goes into all of that. And so when you have high expectations and you're really willing to blossom into more, you're going to invest across the board. Okay. You're going to invest in the key relationships and connecting with those that really inspire you to level up, and making sure you're going to surround yourself with those people. So when you have high expectations for yourself and where you're trying to go and what you're trying to do within your life, you are more willing to show up for you, because let's face it, you're not average. I don't know who told you that you're average. I don't know who told you that you're basic. I don't know who told you that you could not do, that you could not be, you could not have what you want in life. But I am here to tell you that you can and you will. The first step, as I have shared on many other shows, the first step that you have to do is say that you can. I believe that we should all have high expectations for ourselves. I believe that no matter what, as I shared, as far as, when you go through failures in life, when you have those obstacles, when you have those challenges, those are designed and they happen for a reason. I feel like they're necessary. And I've shared this before. They are necessary for you to blossom into who you're supposed to be. You need those to push you forward, to make you stronger. So I agree with Oprah when she says what she know for sure is that you are not built to shrink down to less. Stop acting like you're built to shrink down to less. You should carry yourself as though you are extraordinary, because you are. And continue to carry yourself as though you're extraordinary, because you are. Now, I believe that you are pretty awesome and pretty amazing. But at the end of the day, me believing it and you believing it is two different things, right? So you have to be willing to believe in that for yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. So tonight, I, really just wanted to come to you guys tonight because I am all about making boss moves and helping others make those boss moves for themselves and their lives in all the areas of their life. I know that it can be a challenge. I know that we have tons of obstacles that, often get in the way. But I'll also tell you that I have been through the obstacles. I've been through the challenges. If you haven't heard my story before, I have experienced challenge after challenge from, being a single mom before. I know what it means to go through challenges and struggles and all kinds of obstacles and self-doubt and just the negative self-talk and all of that. The list goes on and on and on and on. But that is one of the reasons why I love coming to you every single Wednesday to share with you how important it is to feed your positive, bring in the positive so that you have that. That's why do you think that I truly believe and love those empowerment quotes? Because on those moments, on those times when you just feel like, oh, I'm so unmotivated, I just don't know if I can continue to go on, I don't know how I'm going to get through. Those are the moments that we have to pull out the inspiration. Those are the moments when we have to pull out those quotes and pull out those scriptures. We have to pull out those things that's going to uplift us, that's going to motivate us, that's going to empower us. And tonight I gave you just a few quotes from some amazing people. Okay, we know that you can plug away on finding all kinds of amazing quotes, and they're there for a reason. So, in closing tonight, I just, really want to encourage every last one of you, as I often try to encourage every last one of you to take a look at your life, take a look at your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. And if you are saying right now, like, I truly would love to make those boss moves in my life, I'm here to tell you that you can. You have to claim it for yourself. And you have to be clear on when you're ready to start, because often we push things, we procrastinate on so many things in our lives that we shouldn't be procrastinating on. So we have to be willing to be consistent and show up for ourselves every single day. I truly believe if you spend time growing on purpose every single day, you will reach your potential. You will be living in your greatness. You can do it. Absolutely. So next week, I am actually going to share some more details of another quote, some more quotes. I'm going to just dive in because I truly feel like right now, I just want to feed you guys. I really want to inspire, motivate you, and empower you. And that is one of the main things that we do on this show, is we want to empower you for growth and success. And you have heard my words. You've heard words of so many amazing people that come on and share their stories and journeys every single week. And I just want to pull out some quotes from some amazing people that you're familiar with, and truly talk more about their stories and journeys, and ultimately really empower you for growth and success, so that you believe, okay, that you have what it takes, that you believe that you can make those boss moves. So you believe that, as I mentioned, what boss moves or making boss moves is, you believe that you are the CEO and president of your life, and that you are going to make that commitment to take action and move accordingly in all the key areas of your life. So I thank you this evening for tuning in to the Empower Hour with Jaresha show. Like always, if you're interested in sharing your own story on this show, or if you are wanting to perhaps start your own show, please visit www.envisionedbroadcasting.com to learn more. And please tune in next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on EB Radio, where you will hear another amazing story and journey from a leader, influencer, and motivator. Until next time, y'all stay safe and be blessed.
Thank you for listening to the Empower Hour with Jaresha, where Jaresha speaks with leaders, influencers, and motivators who share their journey in personal and professional growth, empowerment tips, lessons learned, and keys of success that will empower you to your best self. Follow Jaresha on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jaresha Moore, and visit www.empoweronpurpose.com. Remember to be intentional and be empowered, and have a great day on purpose.